friends, welcome to Prashant IAS. So friends, in the last class, we have completed our discussion with directive principles of state policy. And in this class, we will start our discussion with the President of India. So let's begin. So friends, first of all comes Article 52. So what Article 52 says? That there shall be a President of India. Now what does it mean? So it means that there will be a President of India. Means Article 52 provides for a post of President for India. Okay. So Article 52 says that there will be a President for India. Then comes Article 53. So what Article 53 says? So Article 53 says that the executive power of the Union shall be vested in the President and shall be exercised by him either directly or through officers subordinate to him in accordance with the Constitution. Now what does it mean? So friends, in previous lectures, I taught you that India is a federation. Okay, so as India is a federation, so there are two levels of government. One government at central level. So that is known as central government or union government. Okay, and then one government is at state level. Okay, so one government is at central level and the other government is at state level. So the central government is also known as union government. Now friends, I also taught you that state has three type of powers. Okay, so the government or state has three type of powers. The first power is legislative power, second power is executive power, and the third power is judicial power. And I also explained you what is the meaning of legislative power, executive power and judicial power. So friends, now Article 53 says that the executive power, okay, so which power? Executive power of the union government will be vested in the President. It means that President is the in charge officer of the executive powers of the union government. Means President has all the executive powers of union government. Okay, so Article 53 says that all the executive powers of the union shall be vested in the President. Means President is the in charge officer of all the executive powers of the union. So this is the meaning of Article 53. Further, Article 53 says that now it is up to the choice of the President. Means President can use these powers either directly. Okay, so if President wants, then he can use these powers directly. But if he wants, then he can use these powers indirectly also. How indirectly? Through an officer who is subordinate to him. Okay, so either President can use these powers directly or he can use these powers indirectly through any officer subordinate to him. But friends, the point is that President has to use these powers according to the Constitution. Means according to the provisions of the Constitution, according to the procedure given in the Constitution. So now what is that procedure? So we will study about this further in this lecture. Okay. So friends, if we have to summarize, then we can say that Article 52 and 53 provides for a post of President and they vests all the executive power of the union in the President. Means they provide President with all the executive powers of the union government. So this is the essence of Article 52 and Article 53. Now friends, President is the executive head of the union as well as the highest constitutional functionary in the country. Now what is the meaning of executive head of the union? So it means that all the executive powers of the union government are vested in the President. And moreover, President is the senior most officer of the union government. So President is the senior most and highest officer of the union. Then it says that President is the highest constitutional functionary in the country. Now what does it mean? So it means that President is the highest and senior most officer in India. President is the highest and senior most officer, senior most constitutional officer in the India. Okay. Then friends, it says that all the executive decisions of the Union Executive are taken in the name of President because of Article 53. So what Article 53 says? So Article 53 says that all the executive powers of the Union are vested in the President. Means President is the in charge officer of all the executive powers of the Union government. So all the executive decisions of the Union are taken in the name of President. Now what does it mean? So I will give you some examples so that you can understand it very easily. Suppose friends, if an international treaty has to be signed, then that treaty will be signed in the name of President. If the war has to be declared, then that war will be declared by the President. If peace has to be declared with any other country, then President will declare peace. Okay, so it means that President, all the executive decisions of the Union government, okay, so all the executive decisions of the Union government are taken in the name of President. Means either President take these decisions directly or any other officer takes these decisions in the name of President, on behalf of President. Okay. Then friends, he is regarded as the first citizen of India and the supreme commander of armed forces. So as we all know that we all are the citizens of India, but who is the first citizen of India? So President is the first citizen of India. Moreover friends, President is the supreme commander of armed forces. Now what does it mean? It means that President is the highest and senior most officer of all the three armed forces. Means President is the supreme commander of army, supreme commander of navy, as well as supreme commander of air force. Okay, means he is the supreme commander of all the armed forces. Okay. Then friends, the executive powers vested in the President are to be exercised on the advice of Union Council of Ministers. Now what does it mean? So I told you that Article 53 provides all the executive power of the Union to the President. But friends, there is a point. There is a point, and that point is that President cannot use these powers in his own discretion. Okay, President has to act according to the advice of Council of Ministers. President has to do what Council of Ministers will say. For example, if President has to declare a war with any other country, then President can declare it only on the advice of Council of Ministers. If President has to declare peace with any other country, then President can declare it only on the advice of Union Council of Ministers. If President has to sign an international treaty, then President can sign that treaty on the advice of Union Council of Ministers. Okay. So it means that even though President is the in charge of all the executive powers of the Union, then also President is bound by the advice of Union Council of Ministers. President has to act according to the advice of Union Council of Ministers, and this is the constitutional duty of the President. Okay, so I told you that President has to use these powers in accordance with the Constitution. So Article 53 says that President has to use these powers in accordance with the Constitution. So Constitution says that President has to use these powers according to the advice of Union Council of Ministers. Then friends, President is not the member of Parliament, but he is an integral part of Parliament. Now what does it mean? So we know that there are two houses of Parliament, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. And members of Lok Sabha are members of Parliament. Similarly, members of Rajya Sabha are members of Parliament. Now we all know that President is neither the member of Lok Sabha nor he is the member of Rajya Sabha. Means President is not a member of Parliament. But friends, Parliament has two houses, but Parliament has three parts. So the two houses of Parliament are Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. But the three parts of Parliament are Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha and President. So President is a part of Parliament. Now some students will ask the question that, sir, how President is the part of Parliament? So friends, now I will ask one question from you, that how a bill is passed. So in order to pass a bill, first of all, that bill will be passed in Lok Sabha. Okay, and once the bill is passed by Lok Sabha, then that bill will be sent to Rajya Sabha. Okay, And after that, what will happen? After that, Rajya Sabha will pass that bill. Okay, and once a bill is passed by Lok Sabha as well as Rajya Sabha, then the signature of the president is mandatory on the bill. So until president will not give his assent, or until president will not give his signature on the bill, till that time that bill will not become the act. So it is very important for any bill to become act that that bill must receive the assent or the signature of the president. So president has his very important role in legislation, in lawmaking. So president is an integral part of the parliament, means president cannot be separated from parliament. He is a part of parliament. So now friends, these were some facts and information about the president of India. Now let's move further. Now friends, Article 54 talks about the election of president. Okay, so what Article 54 says? So first of all friends, the election of presidents are indirect election. Means President of India is not directly elected by the people of India. President of India is not directly elected. He is elected indirectly by the representatives of people. Okay, so the first point is that people do not give vote in the election of president, means he is not elected directly. Okay, so president is elected by indirect election, means the representatives of people give vote in the election of president. So now question arises that what is the electoral college of president? Electoral college means who are authorized to give vote in the election of president, who are the electors for president. So friends, first of all, elected members of both the houses of parliament, means elected members of Lok Sabha as well as elected members of Rajya Sabha. So elected members means nominated members will not give vote in the election of president. Only elected members will give vote in the elections of president. For example friends, I have taught you in the previous classes that in Rajya Sabha there are total 245 members. And out of these 245 members, 233 members are directly elected. Sorry, the members of Rajya Sabha are not directly elected. Actually, they are also indirectly elected. Okay, so members of Rajya Sabha are also indirectly elected. They are not directly elected. Okay, means they are elected by the representatives of people. So here the debate is not that whether they are directly elected or indirectly elected. The point is that they should be elected. Okay, whether they are directly elected or indirectly elected, it does not matter. What matters is that they should be elected. So I taught you in the previous classes that there are total 245 members in Rajya Sabha, and out of these 245 members, 233 members are elected and 12 members are nominated. So friends, now these 12 nominated members will not give vote in the elections of the president. Only these 233 members who are elected, they will give vote in the elections of the president. Okay, and the same practice will be followed in Lok Sabha also. So the first point is that the elected members of Lok Sabha plus the elected members of Rajya Sabha will give vote in the elections of the president. Then friends, the elected members of all the state legislative assemblies. Now what is the legislative assemblies? So as we have parliament in the center. So what is parliament? Parliament is the central legislative body. Okay, means parliament makes law for entire country. So similarly in states also we have legislative assemblies. And the legislative assemblies of the state makes law for the respective states. Okay, so now friends, as we have elected and nominated members in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, similarly there are some elected members and there are some nominated members in state legislative assemblies also. Definitely the number of elected members is much higher than the number of nominated members. But the point is that only elected members of state legislative assemblies will give vote in the elections of the president. Okay, nominated members of state legislative assemblies will not give their vote. Now friends, what happened that this statement state, okay, so this word state also includes the national capital territory of Delhi and the union territory of Pondicherry. Okay, means the members of the legislative assemblies of Delhi and Pondicherry will also give vote in the elections of the president. And this was added by 70th Constitutional Amendment Act 1992. And these assemblies started participating in the election of the president from year 1997. Okay, so this is the entire electoral college of the president. Means these persons are authorized to give vote in the elections of the president. Now friends, further in this lecture, I will call the member of parliament as MPs. Okay, so member of Lok Sabha plus member of Rajya Sabha, together they make the member of parliament, and I will call the member of parliament as MPs in short form. Similarly, the member of state legislative assemblies are known as MLAs. MLAs, the full form of MLA is member of legislative assembly. Okay, so for part A, I will use MP. MP means member of parliament. And for part B, I will use word MLA. MLA means member of legislative assembly. Now let's move further. Now friends, then comes Article 55. So what Article 55 says? So Article 55 discusses about the manner of the election of president. Means how the president of India is actually elected. So first of all, states and parliaments are equally represented in the electoral college. Now what does it mean? It means that same importance is given to states as well as parliament. Same importance is given to states on one hand and parliament on other hand in the elections of the president. Means states and parliament have equal weightage, have equal vote value in the elections of the president. Now friends, even if you are not able to understand this point at this point of time, okay, so later in this lecture, you will be able to understand it more easily, okay, when we will complete the elections of the president. Now friends, then the president is elected by a system of proportional representation through single transferable vote and through secret ballot. So president is elected by a system of proportional representation through single transferable vote and secret ballot. Now friends, here first of all we have to understand that what is the meaning of proportional representation system, what is the meaning of single transferable vote, and what is the meaning of secret ballot. So friends, first of all we will try to understand that what is the meaning of proportional representation system. So friends, first of all, the proportional representation system. So here the meaning of proportional representation system is bit different from the actual meaning of proportional representation system used in the language of political science. So here the meaning of proportional representation system is bit different. Okay. So now what is the meaning of proportional representation system here? So first of all, states are represented in electoral college of president in proportion of the population of the respective states as per 1971 census figures. Okay, so what is the meaning of proportional representation system here? So it means that states are represented in the electoral college of president in proportion of the population of the respective states. Now what does it mean? So it means that states will be given weightage of vote value in the elections of the president in proportion of their population. Now what does it mean? It means that friends, if the population of the state is more, okay, so if the population of a state is more, then that state will be given more vote value, that state will be given more weightage in the elections of the president. And if the population of a state is less, then that state will be given less weightage or less vote value in the elections of the president. Means higher the population of a state, higher the weightage or vote value of that state in the elections of the president, and lower the population of a state, lower the vote value or weightage of that state in the elections of the president. Okay, so friends, if I want to explain you this in a layman language, then I can say that if the population of a state is higher, then higher importance will be given to that state in the election of the president. And if the population of a state is less, then less importance will be given to that state in the elections of the president. So friends, I will give you one example so that you can understand it very easily. So friends, as we all know that there are many states in India. For example, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu. So there are many states in India. Okay, but here I will not take the name of any state. We will imagine hypothetical states. So suppose there are two states. The name of first state is state A and the name of second state is state B. Okay. Now friends, suppose the population of state A is 2 crores and the population of state B is 4 crores. Okay, so the population of state A is 2 crores and the population of state B is 4 crores. Means we can say that the population of B is twice as much as the population of state A. Means the population of state B is 2 times as much as the population of state A. Okay, so now suppose friends, if the overall vote value of state A in the elections of the president is suppose 10,000. Okay, so suppose the overall vote value of state A in the elections in the electoral college of the president is 10,000 points, then the overall vote value, overall weightage of state B in the elections of the president in the electoral college of the president will be 20,000. Okay, so as the population of state B is double the population of state A, so state B will be provided with double importance or double weightage in the electoral college of the president. So state A was given 10,000 points in the elections of the president, but state B was provided with 20,000 points. Means its weightage was twice. So state A only had 10,000 points, but state B has 20,000 points. Okay, so this is the meaning of proportional representation system. Now friends, why the census figures are taken from year 1971? Okay, so the question is that why this system follows 1971 census figures. So friends, what happened during that period? That population explosion took place. Means population was increasing at a very high speed. Okay, so but when the what happened later on? Okay, so after 1971 what happened? That South Indian states controlled their population. Okay, so South Indian states controlled their population. Why? Because actually South Indian states are more literate. They are more aware than and they are even more educated than the North Indian states. And the people in North Indian states are not that much literate. They are not that much aware. So what happened friends? That in South Indian states, people controlled the population. But the population explosion continued in North Indian states. Now as a result of proportional representation system, as per the principle of proportional representation system, the vote value of South Indian states decreased in the electoral college of president, and the vote value of North Indian states actually increased in the electoral college of the president. So actually the South Indian states were doing very good work and they were paying cost for their good work, and North Indian people were not doing good work and they were getting awarded for their bad work. So this was wrong. So what was decided that now till 2026, okay, so it was assumed that till 2026 North Indian states will also be able to control their population. Okay, as we can see that the awareness will come later in North Indian states. Okay, so they are little bit late, but they will also get aware. They will also get educated. They will also understand the meaning of population control. Okay, so it was assumed that till 2026 North Indian states will also control their population. So these figures were fixed to 1971 census. Okay, now friends, let's move further. So friends, as I have told you that who can vote, who are authorized to give vote in the elections of the president. So the MLAs of the state, elected MLAs of the state and elected MPs of the parliament are actually authorized to give vote in the elections of the president. So now we need to know that what is the vote value of one MLA. Okay, friends, what happens in direct elections? For example, in the elections of Lok Sabha, one vote has one value. Okay, so if you have casted your vote in 2019 assembly elections, then your vote actually had one value. So what is the principle adopted in direct election? So in direct election, it is that one vote equal to one value. But friends, this system is not adopted in the elections of the president. So here one vote means the vote of one MLA or the vote of one MP. It does not have one value. They have multiple value. Their value is very high. For example, suppose the vote value of one MLA is suppose 200 points, is suppose 400 points. Okay, so here the vote value of one MLA or one MP is actually much higher. It is a very big number. For example, let's suppose the vote value of one MLA is 400 points. Okay, so now let's try to understand that what is the vote value of one MLA. So it is the formula for calculating the vote value of one MLA. So what you have to do is you have to take the total population of the state. Okay, for suppose first of all you have to take the total population of the state. Then you have to divide this total population by the total number of elected MLAs. Total number of elected MLAs in that state, and then you have to multiply this by 1 by 1000. Okay, so what is the formula? So formula is that total population of the state divided by total number of elected MLAs multiplied by 1 by 1000. And when you will apply this formula, you will get that what is the vote value of one MLA. Now friends, I will give you one example so that you can understand it very easily. So suppose friends, there is a state. The name of that state is state A. Okay, so here I will not take the name of any state. Okay, we will imagine a hypothetical state for the matter of understanding. So suppose there is a state and the name of that state is state A. Now friends, suppose the population of that state is 200 lakhs. Okay, so we can call it 200 lakhs or 2 crores. Okay, so they are same. So the population of that state is 200 lakhs. Now suppose friends, the total number of elected MLAs in the legislative assembly. Okay, so total number of elected MLAs in the legislative assembly of that state are 100. Okay, so first of all what you have to do, that you have to divide this 200 lakh by 100. Then you have to multiply this by 1 upon 1000. So first of all, when you will solve this, so first of all 0 will cancel out 0. Okay, so it will remain 2 lakh, and when you will divide 2 lakh by 1000, then number will come 200. So it means that the vote value of one MLA of state A is 200. So in this way, we can calculate the vote value of any MLA of any state. So this is the formula of calculating the vote value of one MLA. Now friends, what is the vote value of one MP? So who is MP? MP means member of parliament, means either member of Lok Sabha or member of Rajya Sabha. So what is the vote value of one elected MP of one elected MP? Okay. So friends, let's suppose the total vote value of all the elected MLAs of all states be X. Now what is the meaning of this line? Okay. So first of all, we have to calculate the total vote value of all the elected MLAs of all the states. So how will you do this? So for doing this, so friends, I will give you one example so that you can understand it very easily. Now let's suppose friends that the vote value of one MLA from, now friends, I have just taught you that how to find out the vote value of one MLA. So let's suppose friends, the vote value of one MLA from Madhya Pradesh is 300. Okay, so let's suppose that the vote value of one MLA from Madhya Pradesh is how much? Is 300. Okay, now friends, let's suppose that the total number of MLAs in Madhya Pradesh is 230. Okay, so how many MLAs are there in Madhya Pradesh? So there are 230 MLAs in Madhya Pradesh. So what you have to do, you have to just multiply this 300 with 230. Why? Because the vote value of one MLA is 300. So if you have to find out the vote value of 2 MLAs, what will you do? You will multiply this 300 by 2. If you have to find out the vote value of 5 MLAs, what you will do? You will multiply this 300 by 5. Similarly, if you have to find out the vote value of 100 MLAs, what you have to do? You have to multiply 300 by 100. Similarly, if you have to find out the vote value of 230 MLAs, then you have to multiply 300 with 230. So when you will multiply this 300 with 230, so the number will come 69,000. So let's suppose that 69,000 is the total vote value of all the elected MLAs of Madhya Pradesh. Okay. So in the similar manner, you have to find out the total vote value of all the elected MLAs of Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Telangana, Tamil Nadu and all the states including Delhi and Pondicherry. Okay. And then what you have to do? Then you have to sum up all these numbers. Okay. And then that number will be X. Okay. So what is X? So X is a total vote value of all the elected MLAs of states. Okay, so X is the total vote value of all elected MLAs of all states. So friends, some student may be finding it difficult to understand. So let me write it so that you can understand it more easily. So suppose friends, I have taught you that how to calculate the vote value of one MLA. Now let's suppose the vote value of one MLA from Madhya Pradesh is 300. Okay, so 300 is the vote value of one MLA from Madhya Pradesh. Now friends, if you want to find out the vote value of 2 MLAs, then what you have to do? You have to multiply this number by 2. If you have to find out the vote value of 5 MLAs, then you have to multiply this number by 5. Similarly, if you have to find out the value of 20 MLAs, then you have to multiply this number by 20. Similarly, if you have to find out the vote value of 230 MLAs, then you have to multiply this number by 230. Okay, so the vote value of 1 MLA is 300 and the total number of elected MLAs in the Legislative Assembly of Madhya Pradesh is 230. So if you have to find out the total vote value of all the elected MLAs of Madhya Pradesh, then you have to multiply 300 by 230. Okay, so when you will multiply it, then the result will come 69,000. Okay, so in this we have calculated the vote value of all the elected MLAs of Madhya Pradesh. Now friends, let's suppose so we have calculated that the vote value of all the elected MLAs of Madhya Pradesh is 69,000. So in the similar manner, we will calculate the vote value of all the elected MLAs of all other states also. So the vote value of all the elected MLAs of MP is 69,000. K means 1000. Okay. So let's suppose the total vote value of all the elected MLAs of the Legislative Assembly of Uttar Pradesh is 80,000. Okay. Similarly, let's suppose the total vote value of all the elected MLAs of the Legislative Assembly of Andhra Pradesh is, let's suppose, 50,000. Okay. Total vote value of all the elected MLAs from the Legislative Assembly of Rajasthan is, let's suppose, 58,000. Okay, 58,000. Okay, similarly, let's suppose that the total vote value of all the elected MLAs from the Legislative Assembly of Gujarat. Okay, so let's suppose from Gujarat this number is 60,000. Okay, now and so on. Okay, so this process will continue for all the states. Similarly, for the union territories of Delhi and Pondicherry. Now what you have to do? You have to sum up all these numbers. So let's suppose when you summed all these numbers, so the result is 20 lakh. So the value of X is 20 lakh. So 20 lakh is the value of X. So it means that what is X? X is the total vote value of all the elected MLAs of all the states. Okay, so let's suppose this value is 20 lakhs. So now friends, I hope that you all must be clear that how to calculate X. Now friends, how to calculate the vote value of one elected MP. Okay, so what you have to do, you have to divide this number X by the total number of elected MPs. Okay, so in order to find out the value of vote value of one elected member of parliament, means one elected member of Lok Sabha or one elected member of Rajya Sabha, what you have to do, you have to just divide this number X by the total number of elected MPs. So as we all know that friends, there are 543 elected MPs in Lok Sabha and 233 elected MPs in Rajya Sabha. So in all there are 776 elected MPs. So what you have to do, you have to divide this number x by 776. So what is the vote value of one elected MP? So the vote value of one elected MP is x divided by total number of elected MPs, means total number of elected members of Rajya Sabha plus total number of elected members of Lok Sabha. Okay, means x divided by 776. So friends, this is the vote value. This entire equation will give us the vote value of one elected MP. So friends, if this is the vote value of one elected MP, and if you have to find out the vote value of two elected MPs, then what you have to do? You have to just multiply this number by 2. Okay, it's very simple. If you have to find out the vote value of 10 elected MPs, then what you have to do? You have to multiply this number by 10. Similarly, if you have to find out the vote value of 100 elected MPs, then what you have to do? You have to just multiply this number by 100. So friends, if you have to find out the total vote value of all the elected MPs, then what you have to do? Then you have to multiply this number by total number of elected MPs. Okay, so if you have to find out the total vote value of all the elected MPs, then what you have to do? You have to multiply this number with total number of elected MPs. So here also this is total number of elected MPs, and here also this is total number of elected MPs. So they will cancel out. Okay, so here also there will be total number of elected MPs, and here also there is total number of elected MPs. So they both will cancel out and the result will be x. Okay, result will be x, means x is the total vote value of all the elected MPs. Okay, so what does it mean? It means that total vote value of all the elected MPs is equal to total vote value of all the elected MLAs. Okay, why? Because the total vote value of all the elected MLAs of all the state was x. Similarly, the total vote value of all the elected MPs is also x. So we can say that total vote value of all the elected MPs is equal to total vote value of all the elected MLAs. Okay, now what is the significance of this? Okay, what does it signify? So it means that friends, president represents people of India. Okay, so president represents people of India on the one hand, and president represents states on the other hand equally. Okay, so president equally represents the people of India, and president equally represents the states of India at the federal level. Okay, so president is the representative of entire India, as well as president is the representative of states also. Okay, so president is the representative of the people of India, as well as he is the representative of states at the federal level. Okay. Now friends, then I will explain you what is the meaning of single transferable vote. Okay, so let's try to understand that what is single transferable vote. So in order to make you understand the meaning of single transferable vote, first of all, I will show you one sample ballot paper. Okay, so this ballot paper means vote paper. Okay, so this ballot paper is not actual one, it is just hypothetical, in order to make you understand. This is not actual, this is hypothetical. Okay, now what happens friends? Suppose there is the election of president, and in the election of president 4 candidates has participated. The name of first candidate is candidate A, the name of second candidate is candidate B, the name of third candidate is candidate C, and fourth is candidate D. So there are 4 candidates in the election of the president. Now friends, this is a ballot paper, means this ballot paper will be filled by one voter. Okay, he may be a MLA or he may be a MP. So this ballot paper will be filled by one voter. Okay, now suppose there is one voter and he filled this ballot paper. So how he filled? So let's try to understand. So suppose he gave his first preference to A. First preference means A is his most favorite candidate. Okay, so candidate A is the most favorite candidate of the voter. So voter will give first preference to the candidate who is his most favorite. Okay, then friends, this voter gave second preference to candidate D, means candidate D is his second preference. Second preference means in case if A will not become the president, in case if A will not become the president, then according to this voter, D should become the president. Means D is the second choice. D is the second preference of this voter. Similarly, B is the third preference of this voter and C is the fourth preference of this voter. Now what does it mean? It means that in single transferable vote system, a voter can mention as many preferences as many there are candidates in the election. For example, if there are 4 candidates in the election, so voter can give 4 preferences. Okay, he can give his preference to all the candidates. Means candidate A is my most favorite candidate, that's why I am giving his first preference. But candidate D is my second favorite. Candidate B is my third favorite and candidate C is my fourth favorite. So in this manner, this voter has given first preference to A, second preference to D, third preference to B and fourth preference to C. Okay, so what happens in single transferable vote system, that a voter can give as many preferences as there are candidates in the election. Okay, so for example, if there are 4 candidates in the election, then a voter can give 4 preferences. Okay, but now it is not binding on the voter that he has to fill all the preferences. Okay, so if he wants, he can give 3 preferences, he can give 2 preferences, but he also has the power to give all the 4 preferences. Now suppose friends, there are in all 10,000 voters. Okay, so suppose there are total 10,000 voters and out of these 10,000 voters, 38,000 voters gave first preference to A. Okay, so in the first round of counting, we will only count the first preference of votes. Okay, so in first round of counting, we will not count second, third and fourth preference of votes. In first round of counting, we will only count first preference of votes. So suppose 38,000 voters gave their first preference to A. Means A is the favorite candidate, most favorite candidate of 38,000 voters. Now 29,000 voters gave their 29,000 voters gave their first preference to B. Similarly, sorry, I am saying 1,000. It's 100. Okay, so please, sorry, it is not 1,000. It's 100. So 3,800 voters gave first preference to A. 2,900 voters gave first preference to B. 1,200 voters gave first preference to C and 2,100 voters gave first preference to D. Okay, so 3,800 voters gave first preference to A, 2,900 voters gave first preference to B, 1,200 voters gave first preference to C and 2,100 voters gave first preference to D. And the overall and the total number of voters are 10,000. Now friends, the quota for winning is 50% plus 1. Means total quota for winning is total number of voters divide total number of ballot votes divided by 2 plus 1. Okay, so total number of ballot votes divided by 2 plus 1 means 50% of the total ballot votes plus 1. So here total ballot votes are 10,000. So what is the 50% of 10,000? So the 50% of 10,000 is definitely 5,000. And when we will add 5,000 in 1, so it will become 5,001. So if any candidate will get 5,001 or more than that votes, then that candidate will be declared as winner. But as we can see that A only got 3,800 votes, B got 2,900 votes, C got 1,200 votes and D got 2,100 votes. Means none of them got the required quota. None of them got more than 5,001 votes. Okay, so none of them got 5,001 or more than that votes. So now what we will see, now we have to eliminate one candidate. So now we will see that who secured minimum votes. So here we can see that candidate C secured minimum votes. So this candidate C will be eliminated. Okay, but friends, this system is very good. Okay, why? Because now the votes of these 1,200 candidates will not get wasted. Okay, the votes of these 1,200 candidates are not wasted. Why? Because now the second preference of these 1,200 candidates will be seen. Okay, so now let's move to next page. So now I have told you that A got 3,800 votes, B got 2,900 votes and D got 2,100 votes. okay, and C was eliminated from the election. Why? Because he got minimum votes in the first round of counting. Now what we will see, now we have to see that what is the second preference of the voters who gave first preference to C. Okay, so now we have to see that what is the second preference of the voters who gave first preference to C. Okay, so the total number of voters who voted, who gave first preference to C were 1200. Okay, so now we have to see that what is the second preference of these voters. So now let's suppose, friends, 800 voters gave second preference to A. 200 voters gave second preference to B, and 200 voters gave second preference to D. So now what we have to do, we have to add these. Okay, and when we will sum up these, so now A got 4600 votes, B got 3100 votes, and D got 2300 votes. Now what we have to do, now we have to check for quota. Okay, so what was the minimum quota? 5001, but none of them got 5001 votes, means no one is elected. Okay, so now what we have to do, now we have to see that who got minimum votes. So definitely we can see that D got minimum votes. D only got 2300 votes. So now this time D is eliminated from the election. Okay, so now who is eliminated? D is eliminated from the election. And now we will go for third round of counting. And what will happen in third round of counting? Now friends, in third round of counting, we have to see that, so these 2100 candidates gave first preference to D, and these 200 candidates gave second preference to D, but now D is eliminated. But there is one rule in single transferable vote, that the vote of none of the voter will get wasted. Okay, every vote will be utilized. So now we will see that what is the second preference of these voters. Okay, so we have to see that what is the second preference of the voters who gave, what is the second preference of the voters. So friends, these 2100 candidates gave first preference to D. So now we have to see that what is the second preference of these candidates. We have to see that what is the second preference of the candidate who gave first preference to D. Okay, so we have to see that what is the second preference of these 2100 candidates. So friends, let's suppose that 1000 candidates out of this 2100 gave second preference to A, and 1100 candidates out of 2100 candidates gave second preference to B. Okay, so 1000 candidates gave second preference to A, whereas 1100 candidates gave second preference to B. Now friends, these were the candidates who gave first preference. Okay, so please see the laser pointer on the screen. Okay, I am using laser pointer to indicate on the screen. Okay, so these were the candidates who actually gave first preference to C, but as C was eliminated, so their second preference was seen. So they gave second preference to D, but now D is also eliminated, so now their third preference will be seen. So now these 200 candidates gave third preference. Okay, so now out of these 200 candidates, 100 candidates gave third preference to A, and 100 candidates gave third preference to B. Okay, so the candidates, okay, so now we have to see about these 200 candidates. So these 200 candidates, okay, so out of these 200 candidates, 100 candidates gave third preference to A, and 100 candidates gave third preference to B. Now what we have to do in third round of counting, that we have to sum up all these numbers. So here the vote, so the total votes for, so A had total number of votes in second round of counting 4600. So now we have to add this 4600 plus this 1000 plus this 100. Okay, after that we have to add this 3100 plus 1100 plus 100. Why? Because these are the votes secured by A and B respectively. So let's see what happened. So friends, in the third round of counting, A got 4600 plus 1000 plus 100, means 5700 votes. And in third round of counting, B got 2900 plus 1100 plus 100, means 4300 votes. Okay, now friends, what was the quota for winning? So after the end of each round of counting, we have to see that whether any candidate has got the quota for winning or not. So the quota for winning was 5001 votes, and now we can see clearly that A got more than 5001 votes. So the votes secured by A are 5700. So now we can easily say that now B is eliminated from the election, and who is winner? So A is winner. Why? Because A got 5700 votes, and these votes are more than 50% plus 1, means these are more than 5001 votes. So A is the winner of this election. So friends, this is the meaning of single transferable vote. Okay, and friends, this is the process of the election of the president. Friends, the actual process of the election of the president is very much difficult. Okay, because the vote value of 1 MLA and 1 MP is very high. Okay, so here I have actually simplified this process to make you understand. Okay, so now I hope that you all must have understood the manner of the election of president. So friends, that's all for today. I hope that you all must have enjoyed the lecture, and if you have enjoyed the lecture, so please like the video, comment, subscribe to my channel, press the bell icon, and share this channel to as many people as you know. Okay, and I have uploaded the link of notes in the description of the video, so you can download the notes from there. So friends, till then, take care of yourself. Thank you.